Well, first of all, we take a picture. Oh my God! Thank you very much. That was it. Thank you. See you guys next time. And one more thing. This is Kirill. Don't be scared of him. Okay. Hello, Kirill. Hello. Yeah. Kirill is part of our new team. We have a new venture called Markus and Christian, and we started a consulting business last week, design and business. We want to transfer what we've learned with WOOM and with PopTop. Many of you know we're doing something else as well with a height adjustable kids desk. We're trying to share our learnings with many other founders because we think that we've learned some things on the way and we've done some mistakes and we've learned from them. And Kirill is part of the team, and we're starting some content online on LinkedIn, TikTok and stuff. So maybe we cross your path while you're scrolling through your feed in the future. Don't be scared, it's us. And just so you know that you don't have to worry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So first of all, it's a great honor for us to speak in front of you, and I'd like to jump to the very first picture in the slide. Oh, thank you. Because maybe you noticed something, the logo. Maybe you noticed something. This is the old logo, and some of you might not have realized that our current logo is the version 2 already of our logo. So this is the old logo. Next slide, please.
Of course, I made the presentation, and of course, I did not see the difference.
No, it's okay. We talk a lot about the past and about how and where WOOM started, and it started with this logo. So next slide, please. This is truly the first second of WOOM. It was me crossing the Alps with my mountain bike. I'm a bicycle enthusiast, always was, and this is the picture of my, by the time, unborn son. The first picture. I took it with me, and I had the idea of, okay, I want to do this. I want to share the enthusiasm, and I want to do this, like crossing the Alps with my mountain bike, with my son one day together. By the way, I didn't knew at the time that it's a son with my child. Next slide. And when my son was born, shortly after I started researching what's on the market for kids. I think it was in the first month he was born. And all I found was unsatisfying, let's put it that way. By the time I am an industrial designer. I had a small design agency. I worked for international companies, a lot in sports, a lot also bicycle companies. I designed bicycles, high-end bicycles for adults. And what I found on the kids sector was disappointing, at least. So I started doing it, drawing and thinking about what could be done better. So next slide, please. And this is where it ended up. On the way between the drawings and the first prototypes, I met Markus, and together we very quickly and in a very naive move, we decided, let's do this together. Next slide, please.
Yeah,
and this was This was our first location.
It was more than that. This was our headquarter. It was the world headquarter of WOOM, and our production and manufacturing facility. And one more comment, and this is the only picture we have. This was the day before the container arrived with all the parts. So we've never seen this place like this ever
Next
again.
Picture.
That was the container.
This is the first container. This is all what was in the container. So this is the first thing that arrived, and shortly after, the garage looked like this, and we were looking like stupid. Oh, there's so much stuff.
And we were ready when we started launching this, we said, okay, we'll get the stuff on the 18th of March and we'll start selling on the 19th. And then we're like looking at all these boxes and this is KNC, this was, for example, these were the chains. And the chains didn't come in the correct length, the chains were on big rolls. So we needed to, for every bike we were assembling, we needed to, you know, trim the chains to the right length, put it together, put it on the bike. So this was a disaster.
Or let's put it a little bit more positive. We learned a lot in the first night already, and we didn't sleep in the first night. Don't look at the beer that's standing around. We needed some nutrition also. So we had day jobs. We worked during daytime, and in the evening we started building bikes.
And this is for those of you who wonder what these black bikes are. We made a deal with Opel in Austria with all the dealers, and we made the dealers a special model. It's called it was the Opel edition. A few of you know that Opel was actually the world market leader in bicycles in the 1920s, long time ago. So the dealers were asking for the bikes and we delivered them, and this way you see all these Opel bikes. And they're actually now, if one of you gets a hold of one, you know, get them for the museum, because these are all, there's all our blood and tears on those things, and there was really a small quantity.
Yeah, and one funny thing, we back then we were putting the stickers on top of the coating, and it was so cold in the garage, it was wintertime, that the stickers didn't stick. They peeled off by themselves because they don't stick when it's cold. So we had to warm the bikes to make the stickers stick.
Yeah, that's my I mean, most of you know Matthias, my brother. He lives in the US. After his university, he decided to stay in the US. And he had a newborn son, that was Luca. He was like a couple of months old. And I have sent my father, this is the old guy that's always in the background somewhere in the garage times. That's our father. Funny story about him. In the beginning we made some errors with a bike. Can I say this? We made some calculation errors about the length of the kickstands. So what happened is we got the bikes, we put them together, we put the kickstands on it, and the bike would fall over because they were too long. Kickstands were too long. So we needed to cut every single kickstand by like 1 centimeter. And this guy did it. Yeah, my father. He flew in from Germany and said, "Daddy, you have to come, you have to cut kickstands." He said, "Okay, cutting kickstands." So in the first 3 years of WOOM, this happened many times. I don't know why, but I think he's cut in total at least 5,000 kickstands. I mean, unbelievable. And the really funny story is, we had, in between these 5,000, we had about 1,500 kickstands that were too short. And the bike would fall over too. So he fixed those two, don't ask us why. He went to Obi Baumarkt, bought some stuff and put them together, and it was working. So I then built a bike and sent it with my dad when he was visiting my brother in the US, and he took this one bike for his son in the US. And that's where the WOOM story in the US started. It was not a strategic, big-time decision. Whoa, how we go and get the US market. It was just random, right? One bike, one old guy, bringing one bike to this guy and for his son. His neighbors started asking for getting a bike, and we started to send more bikes over. Then he got a pallet of bikes. And then he said, you know what, I have so much demand here, send a container. That's how WOOM Bikes USA got started. And he just started to build this thing from scratch, also from a garage, and made it to what it is today in the US. And this bike is still in the office, actually, in the US.
So, what's the fundament of the WOOM we know today? You all know today. And what's the fundament of having so many customers that not just like WOOM, but really love WOOM? So there are some key things on the product. Next slide, please. Andy Schleck.
Yeah.
This is your slide.
So some stuff on the product, and then there's Andy Schleck. So we were at Eurobike in 2015, and this guy, I mean, I don't know if everybody knows it, he won the Tour de France in 2010 or something. So if you're a bike fanatic, that's kind of a little bit of a hero in your world, right? He opened a bicycle shop in Luxembourg, and he started to take WOOM, and this for us was like, I don't know, we drank many beers after that day on the Eurobike at night, because we really celebrated that, and that was really a big step and a kind of an acknowledgement of what we're doing. And coming out of the garage, and then this guy stands there and he says, I'll take 500, I'll sell them in my shop. This was kind of being knighted, you know, for us. Yeah. Very important.
And having such a great fan.
Yes.
Next one.
Yeah, next one is this. You may know him. Ian Zierling is from 91210. 91210, the pros know it. He was one of the actors, and he all of a sudden he ordered a bike from USA, and from WOOM USA, and he just put his kits on and he wrote a blog about us, a private blog on his website, and it got us like hundreds and thousands of visitors, and it really helped us. So he didn't even get the bikes for free; he paid full MSRP, and doing that, and also putting himself on social media. So if you ask, you know, how did we make it to where we were back then? It was just no silver bullet. It was not Angelina Jolie, you know, on the InStyle or on the gala in the magazine. It was just many random things happening. But if you do many things, and you take many risks, many things will happen. And this is what happened to us, because there was no silver bullet. It was just an Ian Zierling. It was Hermann Mayer. It was Thomas Morgenstern, all these some famous people, and then also having some luck. But luck you only have if you turn over many stones, and this is just an example of these stones.
So one of the now coming to the product, one of the key aspects of the product from the first production batch on was the perfect fit. We really thought a lot about how children should sit on a bicycle. You know, usually kids' bikes were shrunken down adults' bikes, and adults' bikes are mainly influenced by sports, by athletes like Andy Schleck, and shrinking down Andy Schleck's bike doesn't help a beginner in cycling a lot. This was clear, and we worked a lot also with a lot of data on how a good geometry for a children's bike should look like, and we did things quite differently.
When Christian showed me his Excel tables behind these numbers, I was 100% sure nobody in the industry does this. No one ever looked at this data. I mean, he even built a simulator. I think this is a screenshot. You could actually, this dude, you know, spinning the wheels, spinning the pedals, and the big problem in the industry was always getting the bottom bracket as low as possible, and not getting a good seating position and get your feet on the ground and not hitting your head with your knee. So this is a dilemma on the small bikes, WOOM 2 and 3. It looks so simple and very well defined, but this is really scientific approach to getting into that simulation.
Yes. The other thing was doing our own components, taking adults' components. There were kids' bikes on the market, and with adults' brake levers on it. So how should a person with a very small hand use those brakes? It's simply not possible. But I don't know, manufacturers of these bikes simply seem not to care a lot about it. But we did, and we started developing our own components, because what's true for the whole bike is also true for the details. You cannot shrink down adults' components and say, okay, they fit. Kids have special needs. Kids of different ages have special needs and need special components. And this is what we did. We did not just calculate the whole bike. We also looked into every detail and made things very different to what the industry does or what everyone else does. Next one. 3D printing was always key, and developing products for kids is even harder than developing products for adults, because when I design a grip, a bicycle grip is a very good example. When I design it for my size, I can 3D print it or build it from clay or whatever, and get a very quick feedback by trying it out myself. This is not possible with a children's product. You have to have children using them, and you cannot ask children how it is, because they might be too small, or they might sometimes they don't tell you the truth because they don't like the color. That's why they don't like the product. So you have to really look and see how children interact with the thing you have created and learn from this. So it's much harder making good children's products than making good adults products. Yeah, this is, we all know our grip.
This is an old grip now.
We can skip the slide, I think. And the weight of the bicycle was also always, from the beginning, was very, very important, because if you make this simple equation of body weight compared to the weight of the bicycle, this would mean, and we didn't make up this number, a 10 kilo children's bike for a 15 kilo child was quite common. This was the standard back then, and it still is in many areas. But this would mean you would have to learn to ride a bike on a moped. Do you remember this? There were mopeds, I don't know, in the 1970s or so, with pedals on it. These were just emergency things, but learn to ride a bike on one of these. Not so easy. Yeah, also testing and engineering is also from the beginning on was a very important part, and you all know your engineer colleagues, and this is a very, very crucial and important part for the product.
This used to be our slogan. We spent lots of time defining the brand, what the values are, many workshops. And this I really love. I'm not sure it's still in use, this slogan. Probably not. But it really, really boiled down to what we were after, also from a cultural perspective, is put yourself in the shoes of your customer. And that means not only from a product design, this also means in terms of customer service. How do you want to be treated? So this is, how do you want to be treated as a customer? What's your experience with us from the beginning on the website? Is the web shop easy to use? Is it easy to understand? Do you find the right product at the right time? And is it available? This is also another topic. So think like your customer and act like a pro. I mean, that's what we are. We are pros in what we do, children's bikes. And that means being highly professional and, of course,
act like that.
Act like it, yes. So from the garage we went into this. This is also, we just talked about it earlier. This is actually, I think it was a staged photo of our first assembly area, or our first warehouse, because I don't think it has ever looked like this ever, if I remember. I think this was just staged for the photo. So what
think
we have
of this like with 200% more chaos. So you're close to the reality.
What we did in the beginning is every bike we've received assembled from Asia, we took out of the box. I mean, not many people will remember this. Two I see right there know exactly what I'm talking about. Also, Christian Schandl spent about 10 million miles flying to Cambodia in 1 year. I mean, this was a monster task. We took every single bike that we've sold out of the box, quality checked it, and put it back in the box. And then send it through our McDonald's warehouse system, because the shipping was on the other side. Tremendous effort, and in hindsight, total waste of energy, but it was necessary at the time. that was a very, very big step in getting these bikes in the box here and get that box out to the customer. I can tell you this was so much headache in the process, and took a big effort. So this was our other warehouse. Here we had many warehouses in Klosterneuburg. This was another warehouse in Klosterneuburg. And we had actually I was very proud, we had a forklift. I thought that was pretty cool back then. To give you an idea, to 2016, this was our org chart. Yeah, so there was like 15 people on there. We had the organization split into 2 buckets. It was Christian taking care of the product and the quality and the design, and then I was trying, because I really didn't have a clue about anything. Coming from a big company like General Motors or Opel, I didn't have an idea how to do bookkeeping or accounting or finance. So I was just learning and trying to take care of the business side of things. So, love the org chart, because this is what it was in the beginning. It was kind of still a family phase, to be honest. And yeah, this was a long time ago. Jesus.
When did you start with direct to consumer?
From the beginning. Yeah, sorry, good question. That's actually the next chart. In the beginning, we said, okay, we're going to find some dealers and we're going to sell our bikes through dealers. And then we talked to the first dealers and they said, well, fantastic, I need 35% margin. And we said, 35% margin? This is not going to work, you can have 10. So they laughed at us for the first 2 years. They said, 10% margin, I'm never going to do business. So we said, okay, shit, our business model is not really working. Let's sell direct to consumer. So we built a web shop. We took Shopify, we built a web shop, and we built that web shop in 7 days. It was full with errors, spelling, grammar errors, punctuation. We're both, how do you call that, dyslexic in English? We're both Legastheniker. And every day we got an email. There's an error on the side, on the product side. There's a spelling mistake, and there's a, it was a disaster. Plus, we didn't have time to make the website look nice. We just needed a website. So we launched a website, started selling bikes, and all of a sudden orders were coming in, 1 a day, 2 a day. So it started off. That's how we started off in the beginning. We had many people come to the garage on Saturdays or any time and found out about us. And they were buying the bike directly from there. I had, luckily, 2 kids. At the time also, very little kids, and I used them as kind of making sure no cars are coming in the corners. And we were helping kids to ride bikes or learn how to ride bikes with WOOM in the garage. I would say, I personally helped probably 300-400 kids starting to learn how to ride a bike. So 1 daughter here, my son there, and then I was just pushing kids around and holding them. So that worked really well until our landlord from the apartment or from the house kicked us out of the house, because she said, we can't have a business like this in the garage, and she kicked us out. So that's how we moved out. So we started online and direct sales in the garage. Then when we got some more volumes and got some more economies of scale, had some bigger orders, we could get a bit better price. And we could also start having some dealer margins, like 20% in the beginning, then 25%, and kind of started building the retailers business, because we already knew at the time, I think with online only, back then, it was a long time ago, the online share of bike sales was only like 10 or 12%. So we knew if we only stick to this, we could have a good margin, but we will never be able to build a brand, because we knew back then already you need the bikes on the street. You need people to see the product. And that's only happening if you have volume out there. If you have units on the street, kids riding around talking to other kids, or parents talking to other parents. So for us, it was very clear to go to retailers or B2B partners. In the beginning, we only had these guys who had a bike shop in their own garage, or they had a part-time bike shop, or that kind of some kind of a shitty bike shop, those kind of idealists that knew the product was good and they wanted to do something good for their customers. So not very professional in the beginning. We took everybody. Hey, you have a bike shop, you want to sell our bikes? Thank you. We didn't even ask where they are, what they do. I sent bikes to a guy who only opened on Saturday from 10 to 2. In the garage he had his stuff. But I didn't care, I didn't give a shit. I just said, I just want to make kids happy and spread the word. And then all of a sudden we got bigger, better margins. We got into the distributor business. We got Piotr from Poland, met him on a Eurobike. We got Andre from Czech Republic. And this is how we kind of, it's people running into our, we never went outbound looking for people. We just had incoming requests. And we took anybody. And that's why many of you guys are dealing with these anybody's today. I'm really sorry about that. I really apologize, but don't really care. You solve that, you're an expert, you solve that, but that's how this whole thing started. And also here, no silver bullet, no secret sauce. It was just not saying no, saying yes, because a no has never made history. I like that saying, actually. These were our bike sales in the beginning. I really hate that because it really looks like we haven't done anything in 2013. Looks like we were sitting on our hands, but it wasn't actually. These were the hardest ones. So we grew from 500, tripled, doubled, and almost doubled until there. So it's a very easy chart. It's lots of sweats and tears. And not only from us, but also from the team that was with us and was fighting through these first hard years. And biggest challenge, biggest challenge back then was actually financing the business, because until here we were not profitable. Until here we were burning money, we're losing. The first profitable year with like this much margin was 2017, and that's the first time we got a loan from a bank. Before that, it was just credits from all kinds of people, friends, families, and fools, asking everybody anywhere on the golf course, on the tennis court. I always had a contract. I always had a contract with me, a private loan agreement. And if somebody said, "What are you doing?" I sell kids bikes. We were having the best kids bikes in the world. We're growing 300%. Do you want to loan us some money? I was asking everybody. I mean, we were shameless. I mean, that's one thing that you learn in this whole process. What does this do with yourself when you grow something like this? Is you leave your ego at the door very, very, very early. I would have never thought I would ask anybody for money. I was too proud to do that. That got resolved in the garage. Yeah, you don't give a shit. You just go and you fight for it. So that's the first time we got a bank loan, and then of course here we got the investor money, and then we got some investors on board. Why did we not take investors on earlier? Because we were, I think I can call ourselves, we were risk takers. We made we did many things from our gut feel, and also many mistakes from our gut feel. But we wanted to be in control of our own business, and we wanted to be responsible for this. We did not want to present the idea to somebody to judge it. We were willing to take the risk, but that only works until a certain point. If you need so much more cash to grow it, of course you're at the end of managing it yourself. You need the external help. But this was our path to 2020, and then Corona hit, right? And then Corona, still remember sitting in the old office. We first thought, okay, what happens when the warehouse closes in March? You know what happens if the warehouses close in March? You can close the whole thing, right? You lock up and you just go home. Everybody goes home. And that's actually one of the scariest moments, I must say. I'm getting goosebumps. Is February 2020 is when I came home to my family at night, and I told them, guys, it's a 50-50 chance we're dead. And if you're a founder here, you know, every loan agreement from the banks that you sign for the GmbH, for the GmbH, you sign and you think, oh, if this thing goes down, we're fine. Every loan we've built up until then, and that was millions, you have a little bit of a last page that they slip you, and they said, if you want this loan, you personally have to vouch for that. So at that point in time, we were down probably 3 million in loans, with a little signature on the last page which said, this all goes down, you go down with it. And that means seven years of private insolvency. So you're bankrupt. We will be bankrupt. And that's why that moment was, this was super tough, sitting my family down saying, guys.
Not a lot of sleep at night.
Not a lot of sleep, super lot of pressure. This was really shit show. But then it all turned around and we sold everything online. And we had our best year. We could not imagine how this could have been any better. Funny enough, I found some stuff in this presentation which I thought would be worthwhile sharing. This presentation is from 2020. And these were our business priorities from back in the time. I think they could probably still be valid. Culture within WOOM is priority number one. Think like a child, act like a pro. This culture was always beats strategy, and we always thought that this is a priority. Continuous innovation of products, but not only that, also processes, also other stuff on how we're dealing with stuff. It's like AI and etc. Always be innovative. Which doesn't mean you have to reinvent everything, but that means you have to be open and look and see what kind of leading edge stuff is out there also to use it in business processes. Supply chain was an issue already, or a big topic, production, logistics and processes. We knew that. I mean, if you have a consumer product, yeah, no shit. Supply chain, yeah. Prepare for internationalization. We knew the growth is going to come outside DACH. We have to be ready for that. The digitalization, I thought that was a good one. And the last one was make decisions fast and get quick learnings. I think this is all still pretty much relevant today. Of course, you would write it nicer, but I just didn't have much time back then to write it. So I think the decision, is why this company was growing to be what it is making decisions or putting up a hypothesis. This could be the best way to go. Go for it. The doors are never closed. In business, they're always open. There are no decisions that you make where you turn around and the door is closed. I think it's always open. Hypothesis, go for it, learn, fail, go back through the other door and try again and learn fast. I think this is still valid today. And the last one, I think, we always wanted to stay humble and hungry. So hungry is, what we always had a problem with is we had some people in the beginning in our teams that said, oh, why do we need to grow? We could be, stay at 4,000 bikes a year. This is so comfortable. But we were just never built like that. Like always, hungry, try to find out what's the potential. It's a challenge. It's like a soccer game. You don't go on the court to lose. You don't go on the court to tie. You go on the court to win. Because we're getting some, we're getting some pleasure out of winning. So that's why for us it was never a question. But stay humble. Don't be an ass. We never really ditched or talk bad about the competition. I think this is also try to stay cool and don't. If you fly too high, you crash very low. So we have like a few more minutes, and what we've thought about is show you some pictures of our past. And this is 2014. This was our first office in the 9th district of Vienna. This is where we started. This was our first Eurobike show. This is when my daughter was still 3 years old or 4 years old. Funny story at Eurobikes, the first 3-4 Eurobikes, we always slept in tents and in the cars. We never really had the money for hotels, and we got drunk every night at the Eurobike. Yeah. So after day one, it was going downhill with the energy. Took us lots of coffee. This was the first Christmas party doing shooting laser stuff. This was our office in Klosterneuburg, the first office. This was Matthias working on the helmets already. See how long we've been working on this? And that's how we started there. It's just a few people in an office. Next Eurobike, next Christmas party. That's where we decided to go go-karting. And then this guy shows up. He comes with a... And we're all tourists, you know, and then this guy shows up with a bag and says, guys, I will be there in 10 minutes, I just need to dress. So he brings his racing shoes, his racing suit, his own helmet with his name on it. And then there's all of us, you know, just barely getting it over the finish line. So never got my ass kicked that bad in go-karting. This is another office. So we took the physical and the child's proportions very, very seriously. I mean, this could have been a PhD. This could have been a PhD process.
Easy.
Next Eurobike, funny thing here, Christian always is the guy that, you know, this is how we work. Christian says, oh, I'm going to make this kind of a stand, and I want that, and I do that. And then he says, and then I'm then the one, you know, trying to figure out how to get it all together. And he says, and I want these bikes on grass. I said, yeah, no problem. We go to Obi, we buy some artificial grass. No. I want real grass in it. That's okay. And this is probably 5 square meters of real grass. You know, imagine putting this in a car. This already weighs 200 kilos, so you cannot put it in the car. We have no space. So,
let me quickly explain why it's so important to have real grass instead of artificial grass. Because it comes down to the brand. We're an honest brand, and I want honest products and honest display, and artificial grass is not honest. So real grass is honest. It's the details.
Yeah, it's always something different if you don't have to find 5 square meters of grass at an event site, right? Somewhere in Bodensee. So I'll be driving around for 5 hours trying to find this grass. Found it, and it worked out really well, and people were really appreciating it. And when people came, couldn't believe we really had real grass on there. So it was a fantastic thing to have. Another Christmas party. I don't remember many Christmas parties. I think we got.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I'm glad we have the pictures. This was our office in Kloster. This was our office in Klosterneuburg before we moved in, and we said when you know the term bootstrap, this is what we did on weekends, tearing out the roofs, tearing the shit out, throwing it out the window, and having it carried away. So we basically almost built this whole office by ourselves. That's why we love this place here, but we still, you know, there's lots of stuff happening. There was lots of stuff happened there that kind of sticks with you. It's a bit of your history in your life. So another Eurobike, next Eurobike, grass again, yeah, but it really worked. Another Christmas party, or summer party, and this was our office in Klosterneuburg then. Another Eurobike, I think that was the same Eurobike. That's when we celebrated 5 years of WOOM. It was in 2018, of course. Big thing, another one. That was really funny because somebody, I still don't know who it was, printed out masks from Christian and myself. And when we arrived, they all wore these masks. This was on the Badeboot on the Danube. 19, more people. Bigger show. This was a really good one because it was right next to Pukki. And we really kicked their ass on the show. I mean, this was, this was an ego thing. It felt really nice. And that was another Christmas party. Office Klosterneuburg, and this was a summer thing. And that concludes our presentation.
Maybe you have questions, we want to give you the chance to ask it.
Or answers, we take answers too.
We also take answers. Yes.
How quickly did you realize that this is going to work out and you quit your day-to-day job?
After 6 months in 2013.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, after making revenue of 120,000 euros and losing 70,000, we thought this is a good idea. And we quit the jobs. Oh yeah, okay.
How is Bob going?
Quite well, very good, very, very good. So we are, right now, our first product was, or is a table, a height adjustable table, but it's, we will bring other products. A chair is in the making, it will be launched this year. What's Chaos Commode in English?
Chaos commode.
So everything living with children inside the four walls will be covered with pop top, and we have a lot of super innovative products in the pipeline. And the nice thing is the furniture industry is is not very innovative, and we can kick some ass here.
Yeah. But we have 8 employees, or a team of 8. We still do our own assembly until in 3 weeks, then we get the first assembled desks. This is now the second year more or less, and we're on our way to sell 4,500 desks. So this is 2 million revenue, above our expectations. We didn't think that it would work that well, but there's a market, and it actually works quite well. And it's lots of fun, you know, making. And the funny thing is so many similarities to WOOM in the beginning that we just have so many answers already to questions that we have a guy running it, John, he's the CEO, and out of 10 questions we have 9 answers. And the one we figure out ourselves, but it's different to focus on the 10% rather than the 90. So It's lots of fun too.
Yeah.
What's the 1 or 3 things you would have done differently?
It's more than 3 things. It's as Marcus 2 times mentioned in the presentation, there is no silver bullet. There's also not one big learning. It's a puzzle. It's many things you have to do right. Many mistakes we made. Many learnings we have, and there are no big 3 things. Or how would you answer it? Are there big 3 things for you?
Big 3 things. I think we should have taken and we should have brought investors in earlier.
Yes.
But not by giving away equity, but with a convertible that's like a Wandeldarlehen. We should have secured more capital earlier on, because
we were really too bootstrapped in the beginning.
Too bootstrapped,
for sure.
Yes.
I mean that our wives are still married with us is a miracle, really. Yeah. Because we put a lot of stretch also on our work-life balance. There was no balance for several years. So it was really a stretch also on our families, and we were lucky that our wives believed in us. I don't know why, really. But yeah, so we could have done things differently there.
Where do you see WOOM in 13 years?
13?
Yeah. Where would you like to see it?
I want to see. I'm not after the market share we have in Austria. I think this is a special market share, but I wanted to be a household name. In the beginning, we said we wanted to be is building a brand. This is. If you can make it to the love brand status where you say, my kid goes biking, my kid goes wooming, I think making it a global household name, and making it a global household name, not only a DACH or Europe or a little bit US, but just really spreading it throughout the globe, also South America, South Africa, and Asia. Be a global brand. Yeah. And of course, profitable, that's important. It goes without saying, but growing it and also, household name. And still love brand.
Yeah. Yes.
It's very important.
Do you miss anything about working at WOOM actively?
Yes, you guys. Really. I mean, I've personally worked with a lot of you guys, and I really enjoyed it, and it was really really great time in my life. Really great time, and I miss it.
It still is.
Yeah, but it's really what was super tough. What we always aimed for is in 2022 getting out of the operational business, and then, do you know what? And then you know, more or less, you leave your key here in your computer, and then you go home, and then you fucking die. This was unbelievable. It was like you're constantly talking to people, communicating and solving problems and challenging here and pissed off about that and happy about that. So this emotion you've got from here, especially dealing with so many people, what Christian said, and then you go home. And you're like, you know, you can make order in the basement and you can clean your garage and you can, you know, my car's clean, the bike's clean. And then you're like, oh fuck, now what? I mean, this was really completely, it's a dream of everybody probably. Oh, you know, I've got my income secured, I'm just gonna do nothing. And then you do it and you're like, shit. This is really,
we are not made. Now you understand PopTop maybe a little bit better, or the origin of PopTop, but we are not made for doing nothing. Yeah. And we love to start again in the garage. We really believe in the garage. This is also the company culture is priority number one, and the house or the architecture surrounding this culture is influencing this culture a lot, and that's why we believe in starting a garage or having a startup in a garage is really the right thing to do, and we are again sitting in a garage.
And we're not on the brake, we're on the gas, right? Yes. And that's fun. We will start doing some stuff that will not work. We're not saying everything we touch is going to turn into gold. No. But we'll make some mistakes too, and yeah. But it's fun to create, and it's fun to
continue learning.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yes.
What advice would you give to someone who's about to start a startup?
Oh, that's a 4-hour. That's going to be a 4-hour. Well, we're going to do this. We're going to film the whole WOOM story. And we're going to go into exactly these phases, in the idea generation phase, in the prototype phase, in the garage phase. But the number one thing, if somebody who thinks about starting up something, is just fucking do it. The most ideas are in the graveyard. Yeah. Right? So just do it, try it out, do it part-time, do it at night, work on your idea, work on the prototype, bring it to market, find out if there's a customer fit, a product market fit. If not, find something new, just do it.
Yeah, I would totally agree. If there's just one advice, I would say just fucking do it.
How much in the beginning did you know about building bikes?
I started making it short. For me, I didn't know jack shit. He needed to show me how to install the brakes on the bike, so I'm doing nothing.
So I knew about bikes from a designer's perspective. I knew about bikes a little bit from an engineering perspective, but I always worked with engineers in a team. I knew how to fix bikes because I always built my own bikes. I fixed them, I serviced them, so I had a lot of I would say first-hand experience of how to fix a bike. I was racing I was also racing a little bit, and I always fixed my bikes, my broken bikes during the.
No, but he was an expert compared to everybody else we usually know. He was an expert in bikes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's for sure.
How about desks?
We're becoming experts, I would say. No, we already learned a lot.
Just need to say, Dean also in the US has a statement for you guys. He just commented. He said, I once asked you guys, when you know you are completely satisfied with your design, your answer was, you're never completely satisfied. It changed my life.
No, we are never happy with our design, because you always learn. You never stop learning. the world doesn't stop turning. The market is moving, people are developing, and it's all things are always changing, and you never stop learning and you never stop improving your product. So I personally, I'm never happy with the status quo, and I always think my mind is always in the future, and I always think about what could be done or what could be the product.
But still, it means you still have to have a minimum viable product that you bring to market, that you test, that you get feedback on, and then you can start working on iterations. Yeah. If you only work on making this thing perfect, so it's our alarm, we have to go into a conference call. If you work on it to be really perfect, you will never bring it to market. Yes. This is important.
Yeah. Yeah. Constant improvement, and the smaller the steps, the better it is, but you also have to, the ideal way would be very small steps in a very high frequent. We all know it doesn't work, so we have to make bigger steps with our innovation. Okay.